And the topic we're going to speak out today is very difficult. It's really, actually difficult is not exactly the right word. It's challenging. And we're right before Shavuot, so it's a good time to pick a challenging topic, even though it's we're just going in order, so it doesn't really have to necessarily, it just kind of falls out that way. If you remember, 2 weeks ago we spoke about, and really also 3 weeks ago, we spoke about Perek Yud Beis Pasuk Daled, right? And the Pasuk initially said, Eishes Chayil at Teres Baila, Berkeves Batzmois of Mevisha. And the Gra said there's 3 different personalities, right? All of them are a mashal used for women. There's the Eishes Chain, and she has her midos fixed up. There's the Isha Yafeh Tor, and she has somewhat perfected her mitzvahs. But the greatest madrega is called Isha Maskelis. Isha Maskelis, right? How do you translate Maskelis? We said
intelligent.
Yeah, it's even more than intelligent. It's like brilliant. Yeah, wise, wisdom. There's even a better word. But Isha Maskelis. I don't even know there's a word in English could be used. Such a. But the point is that the Gra said that this person has really as many as possible of the Memches Kinyanim, right? And we mentioned the Gra says later on in Eishes Chayil that the more of the Memches Kinyanim you have, so the closer the more Torah you'll get, and somebody has all 48, so they'll get a lot of Torah, like the Gra himself. If you don't have all 48, if you have 1 or 2, you should join up with a group of people, each one who has a little bit. And that's the pshat, Rabos Banus Asachayil. Beautiful pshat. Rabos Banus Asachayil. If you're not holding at the level of Eishes Chayil, Eishes Maskelis, but if you join up with a group, so Rabos Banus Asachayil, many women make Chayil, Memches. And then you could, each one, one person Shmiyas HaOzen, and one person's Oivus HaBriyas, and one person is Omer Dov B'Shem Oimroi. And you get that group together, and they all work in harmony together, and that's Rabos Banus Chayil. And they have Kabbalah Satorah all together. So that's a beautiful idea. Okay, so we're going to develop that idea a little bit more today. I'm going to skip Pasuk Hey, Vav, and Zayin. I'm going to come back to it when we finish Pasuk Ches. Yeah? But Pasuk Ches really takes Pasuk Daled further. And the reason it's so difficult is because the Gra is touching on a topic which is Lishma. Lishma really means to serve Hashem just purely without any self-interest whatsoever. Now, I was talking to someone today about something which I've been dealing with for about a year, and it was really hard to speak to this person because he was trying to think, so what do I get from this? So what the whole conversation. And he wasn't even listening so much to what I was saying. It made it very complicated. And we all are like that a little bit. We all really deep down kind of thinking, so what do I have to gain from this? What do I have to gain with this? And that's right, we're human beings. We have self-interest. But the Gra talks about a very high level, and the truth is, the Gra is very machmer in this inyan, in this area. Right? What other people call lishma, maybe, or there's a concept, mitoch shelo lishma bo lishma. You can't just be totally selfless. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Right? You have to go step by step by step, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and then just one day, hopefully you're there. So, and the Gra is quite makbid what he calls shelo lishma. So as we'll see. But this level of lishma is it's such an incredible level that when you begin to even grasp what it is, you realize that this is the whole point that we're here. Right? The whole point we're here. And in fact, the Ramban writes, if you do in your whole life one mitzvah lishma, then that was worth your whole coming into being. He says, Rotza Kadosh Baruch Hu l'zakos es Yisrael. The word zak, right? Zakos, the simple meaning means to give merit. But zak also means purify. Right? So Hashem wanted to purify the Jewish people. Lefikach hirbu lehem Torah mitzvahs. Give us a lot of mitzvahs. The hope is that if you're doing 613 mitzvahs, you'll get to one point in your life of inspiration and you'll do something really lishma. Right? That's really the whole point. You could live your whole life and you got to one mitzvah lishma, and it was worth it your whole time here. And that was like, your schar is going to be for that one mitzvah. So the more we could touch on this level of lishma, so that really, I don't even know what's the right word to use, it's successful. That's like, it's a little bit too self-centered. I just want to read to this Rambam, because I think it's one of the most important Rambams in the whole Sefer. And it's the end of Hilchos Tshuva. Some people have a minhag every day of the Sefer Mei Tshuva, they learn one parak on the Rambam. But the last parak is on Yom Kippur, everyone's so busy, they don't always get to it. But it's the most important, I believe it's the most important parak in the whole Rambam. And in this parak he describes to you what Lishma is. Right? Madregim Lishma. And he says like this. I'm going to start from Halacha Beis. Ha'ovid mi'ava, osik b'torah mitzvahs, v'holek b'nesivas l'chokma, right? A person who's serving Hashem with ava, this is really Lishma. Serving Hashem with pure love, right? You're not doing, it has nothing to do with anything I want, just pure love of Hashem, right? Holek b'nesivas l'chokma, lo mipnei dar b'olam. It's not because you can get money or honor or, people that write an art scroll book about you. Nothing, absolutely nothing, only for one reason. Lo mipnei yira, it's not even because you're afraid of getting punished. Some people, I don't want to go to Gehenna, it's like really hot down there. I met a guy yesterday who, from Arizona, and I said when I was growing up, my parents took me there. It was in Death Valley, it was 110 degrees in the shade. Yeah, wow, it's really hot there. So multiply that by 50 billion, and that's, Gehenna. That's really, really hot. But that's not why you don't do Averis. Not because of that. Yeah? V'lo k'dei li'arsh tova. Not because you're going to get a 50-room villa in Olam Haba. Ela osa emes mipnei shu emes b'sofa tova lavu b'chlal. There's only one reason you serve Hashem, because this is the perfect, exact thing that a person is meant to do, and no other reason whatsoever. Not for honor, not for wealth, not for social status, not even for Olam Haba. Not even to make yourself a better person. Look, a person who learns Torah becomes more refined, becomes more elevated. Who is it? Rav Yitzhak Blazer was the Talmud of Rav Yisrael Slander. He said, if Darwin would have seen my Rebbe, he wouldn't have believed in evolution. It's not possible, right? If we would see Rav Yisrael Slander, we would see such an elevated person. And can you imagine seeing? I heard this from Shlomo Fisher, who was nifter, what was it, last year? Yeah? He said, the Chazon Ish was like a tana, cotton. And I heard the same from Rebbe, right? The Chazon Ish made 300 shidduchim in the last year of his life. Every single person in Bnei Brak went to the Chazon Ish. He said, yeah, those are the ones he made. But he also told people not to go. He knew exactly who your zivug was, what your person in the world. He was a person who was totally selfless person. Rebbe told me, when you looked at him, you saw someone who Olam Hazeh had absolutely no impact on him whatsoever. Not money, not covet, Look, in the offer of Reb Chaim, he could have had a $10 million villa. He could have had anything he wanted. Lived in a little house for Steinemann. I remember when he was nifter, the news all over Israel, they would take pictures of the house. He hadn't painted his house in 60 years. You go in there, he wasn't in this world at all. Just totally, and he made time. I remember going to speak to him when he was 101 about a project. I got an point with him, and two people had to carry him. And I was talking to him, and he was laughing. He was just so happy about things. These are incredible, incredible people, and we should strive for that. But the Rambam gives us the secrets. What is it? No other reason except for the fact that it's the ultimate purpose in this world is to serve Hashem with no reason whatsoever. Yeah, except because of Ava. Because you have pure love of Hashem. And that was the Madrega of Avram Avinu. Right? That was the Madrega of Avram. And the Rambam continues. He says, this is an incredible level. Right? Even a chacham, even a great, great wise person is not necessarily get there. Avram Avinu, Shakar Kadosh Baruch Hu Oyavi. Right? I think there's only one person in Tanakh, I believe, that Hashem calls my beloved, and that's Avram Avinu. Can you imagine? The whole world, when Avram Avinu was born, not one person in the world believed in Hashem. And when he died, every single person in the world believed in Hashem. He took on the entire world. Yeah? He took in everybody. And he won. He won. He was Matzliach because of his tremendous Ava. Right? And he got thrown into a Kibbutz Neish. Right? He didn't have such an easy life. His wife got cost it twice. Famine, all these difficult nisyonos he had. V'mayla shetzivanu HaKadosh Baruch Hu al yedei Moshe Rabbeinu V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha. V'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'medecha. We say it every day in Shema. But do we understand what it means? What does it mean? All your hearts, and all your life, and all your money. Everything. Right? Not to hold back one iota from Hashem. Ubezman sheyav yavis Hashem ava roya miyad yasa kol mitzvahs v'ava. Then your whole life will change. You'll just be like yearning to do mitzvahs as a sign of love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is like an incredible Rambam. This is what you're supposed to learn in Yom Kippur. Right? This is supposed to encourage you. Because when you do tshuva mi'ava, all of your averas become mitzvahs. Chazal tell us, right? You could have the worst averas possible, and anybody who's about tshuva knows, like, you could do pretty bad things in your life, but they become mitzvahs. Because you didn't know, and now you know, and you feel bad, you regret it, and everything becomes mitzvahs. Okay? That's Oved Hashem Ba'ava. So we're going to speak about that today, and look, and hopefully, if you speak about something, hopefully it'll make a little bit of an impact, at least on me, and hopefully on you, and your Shavuos will be very different. Because Kabbalah of Torah will be a totally different experience. And they were giving away some books next to my house. And on Tenegassi, they always put out books, people. And they had a copy of Art Scroll Rus. So I took it, and the past weeks at the Shabbos table, I was going through it, and you'd see like Rus. There was a person who was a queen, and she gave everything up, to join Klal Yisrael. And you see how she acted in her serious nefesh. That's Lishma. And that's why Boaz understood. He saw like this was somebody incredible. You could see when a person is Lishma. I heard a little while ago, but I just heard this also recently. From this in Krelitz, had a base in Bnei Brak, it's still going. And he was very, very connected with Gerim. Right? And the person who was the head of the base, and his name is Rav Wiesel. Amen. He told me, Nissan Krelitz could see if the ger was sincere or not, right? And one time a woman came, and she came with her husband. So why do you want to convert? She says, it's not healthy in a family to have two religions. I'm Christian as a Jewish. I want to be Jewish. And they threw out, no. And Rabbi said, no. This woman is completely sincere. And it turned out to be like the most, incredible gers like they ever had. Because you could see it. You could see into a person's neshama and tell if they were sincere. Okay, the Gemara talks about that actually. We learned that already. Man and Lashon, that the Nevi'im, right, that they could see into your neshama, and they could perceive things that even we don't know about. But it's a big avoda, right? And each and every one of us, and that's I think why they read. One of the reasons we read Rosh and Shavuos. We just counted tonight. It was number 46 in Omer. It's almost the end of the Omer. And the 50th day we don't count. The 50th day is the 50th Sha'ar Bina. And that's perfection. We can't get there in this world, right? But we can strive towards it, and that's what we're going to speak about. B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem should help us in the Gemara tonight. So we're in Parak Yud Beis, Pasuk Ches. We're going to come back to Hey Vav Zayin. We're going to get to that. But I want to do this because it's so important. Okay. So the Pasuk says like this. Lefi sichlai yahalu ish. According to his person's seichel, he'll be praised by people. Right? V'navalev yilabos. But the person who has a corrupt heart, he'll be for disgrace. So the Gemara says like this: Ki adam afal pishu yirei shemayim b'seiser. He could be in the person who's really lishma. So this is what Rav Safrani, I once asked my Rebbe, Rav Safrani, I said, how do you know if a person is sincere? If they're lishma? He said two signs. Number one is how they deal with money. Right? Some people they're big tzaddikim, but when it comes to money, suddenly a new face is revealed. So that's one thing. And the second thing is their sneas. Right? Now, Rav Safrani, he's the Rav in 60 shuls in Eretz Yisrael. He's Rosh Shiva. He's the Rosh Av based in France. And he's doing 25 other things. But you'll never hear that from his mouth. And a person who goes with sneas and doesn't try to what's it called? Mishavek, he used the term mishavek, market. Yeah, of course, I'm the best person around. Right? That's the person. So the true Yerei Shemayim, he's B'Seiser. You know the story here about Rav, he lives here in Harnof, he's Rosh Shiva now in Itri. You know what I'm talking about? Rav Ozer, right? He's a Rosh Shiva now in Itri. And he was just not ready for many years. What happened? There were a few people who, there was somebody sick, and they made a meeting by the house. They said, between Mincha and Marav, someone should speak. So I said, yeah, maybe you speak, this, young Talmid Chacham. He got up and like, who is this guy? He just not. Pretty soon he had a shir with 200 people, yeah? And then he became the Rosh Yeshiva. He took over Rav Shlomo Fisher's position. I mean, Rav Shlomo Fisher was probably the biggest gadol of the whole world. But he never told, don't you know who I am? I'm the next, he's Rav Reuben's Chavrusa now in the morning, and he's Rosh Yeshiva. So, but he never said one word about it. He came, they asked him to speak, so he spoke. He spoke. One of the most difficult experiences for me these days is when I go down Yirmiyahu Street and I pass by where Rav Zalman Chaim Goldberg used to live. Rav Zalman Chaim Goldberg, I don't know if anyone ever had a chance. His Rebbetzin was Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach's daughter. It was Mavel al Rhein. When he was 17, there was a mivsai in Panovich to finish all of Bavli and Yerushalmi, and he was the only one who did it. He finished the whole thing, and he was he had all Kol HaTorah Kula on his fingertips, and you would think this guy is nothing. He travels on a bus, he talks to you, he said, Rabbi Travis, I have a question. I walked in one time. He said, Rabbi Travis is here. You could ask him the child. It was just to be to experience such a person, and there was no selfishness to him whatsoever. If you looked and you looked and you looked, you're not going to find it. There's not an iota of selfishness in this person, and that's what the Gemara is saying here. Yirei Shamayim b'seiser ve'ein mi sheshama terasa. People might not even know about him. Af al pi kain yahalu lefi sechlo. He will be praised. Ki atar machrezes alav mibuchutz. Right, like the story with the Voser. Right, it's not possible that such a goyin olam is just going to stay quiet forever. Yeah, because and Hashem was megalgal. He should be at this minyan and they should talk and people should discover him. Yeah, his Torah, and it wasn't an accident either. It was exactly planned that for 10 years he's allowed to be quiet, and then it all comes out. Yeah, and then it comes out. Right? That's the person who is the Yirei Shamayim b'seiser. V'nav elev, the person who has a corrupt heart. Libo's kolomer, afilu shema'avis belibo ve'enim magali. It's hidden, his corruption in his heart. Right? Everybody thinks this person is the biggest tzaddik, and inside his heart, he's totally corrupt. Af al pi kein yilabos. Shekadosh Baruch Hu yivharsim kolana. It'll come out, right? It'll come out somehow. That's one shot, right? Okay. This is the second shot. So now this is the hard one when we spoke about this. Lishma. Lefi sichli halish. Ha'inu kamosh ksavti lamala. That was in Pasuk Daled we saw, which was Eishes Chayil, Isha Maskelis. Sheshlosha nashim heim. Right? If you look online, there's a shir called Three Wonderful Women. That's the Isha Maskelis, the Isha Yafet Mara, and the Isha Yafet Torah. Right? Again, Yafet Mara is the Midas Tovos, Yafet Torah is the mitzvahs, and Isha Maskelis is Lishma. She has all 48, and it's a mashal, all 48 Kinyani Atera. Right? V'chein, so that's the Shlosha Noshim. V'chein ba'olam haba, heim Shlosha onshim beganim. So we're going to see, what's it going to look like in the next world for these three individuals? Yeah. So the first level is kol alomid lishma yeshlo memches olah memches dvarim shatorah niknas b'hem. Right. So you have all 48 kinyanim. Right? It's a very interesting thing the Gemara is saying, because we saw it was in Eishes Chayil. Right. It was Lamed. Where was it again? It was Lamed at the end of Eishes Chayil. Rabos Bonus Asa Chayil. Sorry, it was Lamed Aleph. Lamed Aleph, right?
Perek Vav, Pasuk Vav.
What's that? Oh, right. I'm sorry?
Perek Vav.
Perek Lamed Aleph. Lamed Aleph Chav Tes was Rabos Bonus Asa Chayil. At least Al Kulana, the Shinem Zayin. Right? And there, the Gemara said, very, very few people get this madreg of Memches Kinyanim. But in note 139, they bring from Rav Chaim Volozhin, he says, right, it's really important to read this note. It's on page Shin and Zayin 139, right? The Gemara says almost nobody gets this madrega. So if you skip down in 139, 1, 2, 3 lines down, this is the introduction that Rav Chaim Volozhin wrote to one of the Gemara's Svarim. He writes, he wasn't missing any of them. Kol Maisav Vinyadav Nifloyim. It was incredible, his actions. Lefi asher nafshi yodas ve'ein ros. Everyone know shekol mem chestavam shebetorah kadosh niktas v'hem kulam niskaymu b'Rabbeinu Agadol. Right, v'kadosh. V'asku b'torah l'shma b'kol kaicho. He used every last ounce of energy to study Torah. The Gra, at the end of his life, he slept 2 hours a night, not more than half an hour. Because it says if you sleep for half an hour, you taste the time of death. He would sleep half an hour intervals, for no more than 2 hours. And every single thing he did was completely calculated according to the complete ruts in the Torah, according to his incredible understanding. Reb Brevda told me he had the neshama from somebody 1,000 years before, of the Rabbanan Savaroi, which was in between the Tanaim and the Goyim, maybe? Yeah? So it was an incredible thing that a person could reach this level in this world. And that was, was the Gra. We're not going to get there, right? But as Rav Moshe Arnstern once told me, but if we learn this, and we have something to strive for, and we have someone to emulate, then we get closer to it. And Rav Chatzkel Levenstein once said, he said, in this generation, if you do the smallest thing, it's like 1,000 times more than in previous generation, because there's so many obstacles, right? There's so many obstacles in our way to be a selfless person today. Do you know Meir Weinreb in the Psik? Do you know that? Where is? Yeah. Meir Weinreb, when I meet him, I say he should be put in a museum. He's a selfless person. He's a selfless person. When I come to America, he says, Rabbi Charles, what can I do for you? Completely selfish individual. And Rabbi Brevda had a talmidim like that because he kind of attracted such individuals. I could say other people, but it's just when you meet such a person, you have to take a deep breath and just look at their life and see they don't do anything for themselves. I know other people like that. I could mention names, but I won't. But every single action is what can I do for this person? What can I do for this person? And this is what we're meant to be striving for. And this is what Gon is saying, right? So look, they might not have perfected all of the memches, but they're on that road, right? They're on that road. And says the Gra, and that's Eishes Chayil Ateres Baila, right? That is the kinoi, that is the nickname, as it were. Yeah, the Eishes Chayil. Chayil, we said, is Gematria 48, has all 48 kinyanim. Right? That's someone who's over lishma. Aval kasher eino lomen lishma. If you're not on that madrega, rak almanas lekabel pras, yesh lo chuppah b'gan eden. Right? You have a special place in Gan Eden. Achu nikva michupaso shel chavero shalom lishma. So, what will it look like in Gan Eden? Right? What will it look like in Gan Eden? Right? Each person will have their place. Right? Now, this is a very important thing. The Mishnah says, don't be like people who are almanat, who serve the master almanas lekabel pras. Pras, they sell bread in Israel. Lechem parus, it's sliced, right? So pras meat. Now, Rav Chaim Volozhin says a very big chiddush on that Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. He says, really, you are supposed to serve Hashem for reward because the reward is close to being close to Hashem, right? But pras means to divide it up, yeah, like lechem parus. You can't divide the reward from Hashem Himself. In other words, if your whole raison d'etre, if your whole attitude in life is to serve Hashem because you want to be closer and closer to Him, and that's reward, so that's not pras. You're not separating the reward from Hashem. The problem is reward. If we think reward is we'll get $25 trillion in our bank account, and we'll have a big house and a car and a swimming pool. If we think that's our reward, like our Arab cousins think, what Gan Eden is all about, right? They'll be very surprised when they get there and they see what's going on. But the point is like this. The point is that there's chuppah. What does it mean, a chuppah? Chuppah means that each person, according to the madrega that they achieved, that's where they are, right? That's where they are. There was one woman once who called me up with a shaila, right? And I said, look, I can't tell you what to do, right? But I said, if you go ahead with this, then we get to Gan Eden. I said, if I'm looking at your toenails, then I'll be very I'll have a lot of schos, yeah, because people could do great things, yeah. And again, the more selfless your act is, it doesn't matter what it is, right? The Ramban says it's worth it to come into this world to do one selfless mitzvah. Yeah, one time someone asks you to do a chesed, you don't tell one person about it, and it's a pain in the neck, and the person is really, drives you crazy, but you do it anyway. You do it with simcha and a smile, and you get absolutely nothing from it. It says Ramban, it was worth it to come into the world just to do that mitzvah, and that's l'zakus Yisrael. That will purify you. Anytime you do anything which even touches on this madrega of l'shma, it's like the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever, right? And that's what it says. People in Gan Eden, look, if you're doing avodah shalol l'shma, whatever reason you might have, but you'll look at the chuppah of the people who are over the shma, right? Like Mayor Weinrib and other people, and they'll say like I could have done that. Like, why didn't I do that? And the answer is, why don't we do it? It's a good question. One major reason is because we're just influenced by our environment. Rabbi says all the time, right? The whole world and society is so completely self-centered today. All of advertising, everything, newspapers, this billboards, everything is like, we're surrounded by like, do this, do that, enjoy this, do that, buy this, buy that. One big mashgiach told me he went to America and it was Sunday and like everyone's going shopping. Like he felt, I have to go shopping, I have to buy something. I need, you need to this, and Coke is life, even though it's really not. But my mother-in-law says it's really good for cleaning toilets, and if you put a ship in, it disintegrates in a few days. So the point is like this, but like we're pushed by so many things to do things for ourselves, right? And that's like the complete antithetical to the entire Torah. The Torah is all about, like we read here in the Rambam, like this is halacha. It's not like a Musar sefer. This is the last halacha in Hilchos Teshuvos. This is like the Makar Patash on Yom Kippur. This is what you're supposed to learn, right? You're supposed to serve Hashem with Ava, with no reason whatsoever, just because it's the absolute truth, and that's what Hashem wants you to do, right? And that's it, totally selfless. And the Gemara is saying, Ad Kedei Kach, right? Okay, look, we don't have to worry about Olam Haba, but when we get there, B'ezrat Hashem, so you'll look at the person l'shma, and you're like, why didn't I do that? It'll be so pashut, it'll be so simple. You'll be like scratching your head, like, why didn't I do that? Okay, so look, you have it still. Well, Hashem should give us long lives, and you hear it this year. And look, I'll tell you, I'm not even sure I could say this to like a lot of men because it's just this is too hard. They would just like have nervous breakdowns. So I'm very right. I'm putting a lot of chashivas in everyone here tonight because like to learn the sefer, you really have to really be very nitty gritty. But that's what the Gra is very nitty gritty. It like doesn't pull any punches. It says, look, you want to get to Olam Haba, B'ezrat Hashem, and to really have nachas ruach, to bask in the Shechina, right? Then work as much as possible to get this madrega of l'shma, because Chazal tell us, kol echad nichva michupasa shel avero, that you'll be like, nichva means like devastated. You'll see like how other people were serving Hashem l'shma. So do it now, right? Why wait till the last moment? Okay, that's one madrega. That's a shema. Now there's a lower madrega, which is and with the Gra holds this is called shalol l'shma, right? Right. The Gra holds that this is shalol l'shma. It's shalom et al menashik Rebbe for kavod, for honor, for shil kavod. You'll be embarrassed from yourself, right? And the third madrega, the Gaon holds this is very toxic. Yeah, extremely toxic, is mi shalom ed lakanter. You just enjoy arguing with people. Arguing with people, right? And that's yisbazim acherim sham. The Gra holds that somebody who just like likes to argue with people, then like that's really it's something quite terrible. It's a real bezoin to Torah. And then he quotes now a Gemara, Amar Rav Yochanan, Asad HaKadosh Baruch Hu lasot sheva chuppahs l'tzadikim. 7 different chuppahs for the tzadikim. So Amar Rabbi Chanina, Shekol echad nikviv michubasa shechavero. Oy lo'osa busha. It'll be very, very hard when the tzaddikim get to Olam Haba. They'll have embarrassment. Oy lo'osa klima. It says, so the Gra points out here, what's going on? L'chayna move on. Hello, Haim's return. Why does it say oy lo'osa busha, oy lo'osa klima? What are we getting from all? What is he adding? So he says, there's 3 different things here in Gan Eden. There's nikva, and busha, and kalima, right? Nikva, if you didn't serve Hashem l'shma, you'll be nikva. Busha, if you served Hashem for honor, and kalima is if you did it just because lakanta, right? K'mo shekasav eser pamim tachlimenu v'zel lefi seichlo yahalish. This is what the pshat in the pasuk is. Aidei isha maskelis, yeah, right. That is the ultimate madrega we're looking for, which we said is the memches kinyanim, and also serving Hashem l'shma. Yahalish. Right, shitei ateres tiferes. You'll be on that madrega, which is called the teres tiferes. Aval navalev halom in the counter leibos she's bazim achem. Right, you'll be disgraced there. Right? Al kol panim, look, it's hard for us to talk about olam haba because we don't have any idea really what it's all about. But we can talk about l'shma, and each and every one of us knows, like the times in our life where we're zocheh to a mitzvah in that way, like, just an incredible feeling. You understand that this is really like the way it should be, right? And not to tell somebody else, and not to get paid for it. And again, there's nothing wrong with getting paid. A person has a job, they should get paid, and they should do this, right? But you're not doing it, for the money at all. Not because of the money, and not for the payment, and not for this. Just because you want to do pure chesed, right? And this is madrega of Avraham Avinu. Can you imagine, 100 years old, he had a major surgery, it's the hottest day of the year, and he's outside looking for guests, and he's in the desert, how many people on the hottest day of the year? Hashem took out the sun and made it the hottest day of the year, so he could just relax. But I said, I can't relax, I need to do chesed, because it was ingrained in his personality, right? And that's what the Rambam says, Avram Oyavi, right? He loved me, it was like, I love it. It was passion, right? That Avraham Avinu had for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? And each of us can touch on that. I just got a letter today. Let's see if I have it here in my pocket. I had it somewhere. Let's see. This pocket. I got a letter from someone about Avraham Avinu. So many papers here. Oh, is this it? No. Okay. Anyway, so B'Kitzur, this letter said basically they were thanking me for a certain shir I gave about Avraham Avinu, and that we could always sound madrega. That Chazal tell us, Masai Yigia Maisav Avram to the Avos. Yeah? When are my actions going to reach the actions of Avos and the Emos? Right? Because look, Sarah was Avram's partner, they were in it together. And we could do it. Right? We have in our genes. Right? Someone was just telling me about DNA, you could track if someone's a Kohen or Jewish, and it's a whole shaila and halacha. Do you rely on this? But we have all the avos they put in our DNA. Our Avinu put in our DNA, we can all come to Lishma. And I'll tell you the truth, where are we holding today? Today is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Shabbos, Friday, Thursday, right? Tomorrow, Wednesday night. Starting Wednesday night, it's the Gimel Yemei Agbala, right? And Gimel Yemei Agbala, what is that about? Each person chooses their position around the mountain, right? You choose it, or you establish your position where Har Sinai is. And during those days, during the next 3 days, so we can decide where we want to be by Har Sinai. If you are somebody who's Lishma, then you will get an unbelievable shefa, an infinite bracha of Torah and blessing into your life, right? Because there's so few people doing this today, right? And Chas v'Shalom, I'm not coming to criticize or say anything about it, but we're just so brainwashed from the whole world today, right? We've been so brainwashed from everyone around us and advertising and the media and everything that we're just, if you could break out of that, then you'll get the greatest. And that's Gimel Yemei Agbala, right? Just like Klal Yisrael, they positioned themselves around the mountain, each person according to their madrega, and by each there was fences, I don't know, physical fences, but depending on what level you were at, that was where you were allowed to stand, And we see from the story of Rus, here, was a non-Jewish woman who converted, and she's the superstar of the whole Yontif. She's the, one we hold up in the limelight, as it were, that on Shavuos, emulate her actions, because it was totally selfless, totally selfless. I don't know if I told you that before. It's right at the beginning of the Sefer, right? The Gra has a big klal. He says if you feel too excited about it, right, then it's coming from the Yetzer Hara. says, because the Yetzer Tov doesn't make you excited. And the proof is from Megillas Rus, right? Because it says in Megillas Rus, Rus mitametzes level. Nobody saw, like, Rus was like, it was really hard, it was difficult for her. And she said, she's Lishma. That's Lishma. Because if it's just if it goes too smooth, then that's a sign that it's coming from the Yetzer Hara. So look, we have a lot of work ahead of us, all of us, and to even like I said, if you get to one mitzvah, on Shavuos, like if you could just make one bracha, just think, I want to make a bracha, like, okay, it's really good cheesecake. Anyway, but who knows? And like almost nobody knows what bracha you make on cheesecake, cheese and the zonas. Let's not use that. Let's say, you have a cup of coffee. You've been staying up late at night. You have a cup of coffee, and you think, look, it's good coffee, and some milk and sugar. But like, I'm gonna make this bracha just because complete ava of Hashem. I'm gonna think about every single word. Baruch Ata Hashem. I'm gonna say it slowly. When I say Hashem's name, I'm gonna think Hoy Hoy V'yeh, Elokeinu Melech Olam, is the King of the whole world. Shakol Yeh B'dvarei. Like everything He does is from His word, and that's it. And you spend like a minute on it, and like nobody knows about it. You don't tell everyone, hey guys, our child said make one bracha l'shma, right? Just between you and Hashem, right? And that's it. You're serving Hashem l'shma, right? That's like could be like the highlight of Yeshua, or whatever it is, whatever it might be. If you can touch on that like once on the Holy Yom Tov Shavuos, then you'll receive an incredibly great blessing of Torah on that thing. Because that is really what the entire Torah is all about. Yeah, it's not about knowing. And of course, look, there were people who knew call it Torah Kula Rav Chaim, right? But Rav Chaim's greatness was his interaction with people. Rav David Feinstein writes about his father. He said, my father's greatness was interaction with people. He said, if you learn a Gemara and you're not more sensitive to the needs of widows, almanas, then you should learn the Gemara again. You missed the point, right? The whole point of the whole Torah is this Gemara that we learned tonight. Is to come to the Shema. It's like just serving Hashem, caring about people, and care because they're children of Hashem. The reason Avram Avinu, like he loved every single person in the world. He was Avram Oivi. He loved Hashem, and they're all Hashem's children. So he loved Hashem. Shimshon Pincus was once in Ofakim, and there was a boy on a donkey, and he was wearing shorts, no shirt, no socks, just shorts. And someone said, there's a donkey on a donkey, about this kid. So Shimshon Pincus, like he screamed, he said, don't talk about my son that way, Don't talk about my son that way. It wasn't his son, But I was zocheh to be close to Shimshon Pincus, like everybody was his child, Everybody was his child. And if you look at people around you like that, Hashem just He loves you. And that's why Avram Oyavi, right? Hashem is made that Avram Avinu loved him, right? And Oavi was my beloved, right? That's really the madrega that we're really trying to shoot for on Shavuos. And that's the whole reason Hashem gave us the Torah, right? Before Hashem gave us the Torah, so He went around to the nations of the world and they said, what does it say in it? What does it say in it? Oh, Lo Sigdal, not for me. This is not for me. Lo Tirtzak, no, that's our profession. We're professional mafia people. Can't tell Tirtzak. So then finally gets the Klal Yisrael and they say, Nasa v'nishma. Right? Nasa v'nishma. It's like, what's the big deal about Nasa v'nishma? We make such a big deal about it. Does anyone know? What's the big deal? What would you say? Ms. Kotoy, what would you say?
Just do it, because you're not close to Hashem. See what He's giving you something.
Right, exactly. And you trust Him, right? Complete, blind faith. But not because, we're brainwashed, because we really trust in Hashem and we have such ava for Him and we're putting everything in His hands, right? And I just saw recently in the Hakdama of the Zohar, right? It says Nasa by man, right? Nasa on B'Tsamenu. It says Nasa v'nishma. The whole point of the creation of the world was the Klal Yisrael should say Nasa v'nishma. Right? We say Nasa v'nishma because that's it. You just put everything into Hashem's hands. This madrega of Lishma is only possible if I'm giving my life over to Hashem. Because you're saying, everything I'm doing purely for you. right? That's the madrega. It's a high madrega. It's really easy to talk about it, like it doesn't require anything. But the hard thing is really to do it. And again, like the danger of me giving such a shir is like, oh, it's too high, forget about it. Let's just go home and drink my coffee, I want to drink the coffee because it's like it's geschmack with the cheesecake and just like have as much as possible. No, right? You think, I'm going to sit there with the coffee, I'm going to make that bracha, take time, think about it. I'll just tell you a little secret. I have a very close friend. He's like one of the, he's probably one of the Lamed Vav Tzaddikim. He's like probably one of the biggest poskim in America, and he has all the Kabbalah on his fingertips, right? He showed me when he makes a bracha, he goes through 100 pages of kavanas, and he traces the bracha from like when it starts in Shamayim until it gets down to this world, and it's going to Atzilus and Bria and Yetzeres. And all those things going on. He's like, how could you just make a bracha? Do you know what's happening? And like this part of Shamayim is coming, like all these things are going on. The whole world is turning upside down. And Shekol Ne'evra, let's drink the coffee, the coffee. So take time to think about it, but not just that, but just to be close to Hashem. And like what a gift! It's green tea, and it's like healthy and it tastes good, and that much better than coffee, right? Because it doesn't make you hyperactive. So you just think for a second, what incredible Hashem gave me these gifts. All food could taste exactly the same, and we have a chance to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for these things. If you just do one act till next Tuesday, right? And we'll make it two, right? Because with Gimel Yimei Hagbala you have to do one, and then Shavuos, then another one, right? And it could be anything at all. It could be a bracha. It could be an act of chesed. It could be just talking to somebody who's really annoying. There's somebody like who is very like he really wants me to help him as much as possible, and I'm very glad to do it. I said sometimes you just have to be careful when a person's tired and you get too much. That type of person. But it's really, you can really have an opportunity to come to the Shema with such people, because you might be annoyed, but just hold it back. Don't get upset. Think of 2 opportunities, during the next, what are we talking about? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, 5 days, right? So, tomorrow is a special day. It's called Yom HaMiyuchas, because it's in between Rosh Chodesh and Gimel Yimei Hagbala. So it's in between 2 important things. It's called Yom HaMiyuchas. So we'll give you, tomorrow you can think about it, right? And then Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, those are Gimel Yimei Hagbala, to do one thing as lishma as possible, and take time to think about it beforehand. And then on Shavuot to do one more thing. So 2 things we're asking for this week. Yeah? And it's probably better to do the same thing twice, right? Because from the first time you can learn from your mistakes, and then the second time, then you'll perfect it even more. And don't try to do it too many times. I would say now just like twice, but do it. This person, this hidden side I told you about, he told me every Shabbos he takes half an hour just to make one bracha, and like he says, it's a special experience of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? It's purely, I only want to eat this apple. It's not because I'm hungry, and not because I just want to be close to the Borei Olam. And you do that, right? Think of 2 things you can do, and I'm telling you, you'll come back on Tuesday and your faces will be glowing, because you'll get, like Moshe Rabbeinu, right? They translate the horns, the King James, what's the Bible, which one? Whatever one they put in the hotels, right? So they said, Moshe had horns coming out of his head. Well, it was Karen or Panav, right? It wasn't horns coming out of his head, it was lights, right? They had to put over his face a screen, what they call a veil, because light was emanating from your face, right? I'm telling you, if you do these 2 mitzvahs and you work on this, on Lashma, so I'll come here, you won't need to turn on the lights. You'll have light emanating from your face, because it's just, you'll get such a bracha of Torah. Now, of course, there's a condition, right? It has to be that you're striving that everything should come to that. But you can't just change your life around like that. These 2 mitzvahs will be a harbinger. They'll be an impetus that the rest of the year you should try your best, And if you try your best, that's something really, really great. Okay, so we spoke a lot about that. I want to do 3 more psukim just because, otherwise, we'll never get anywhere in the Sefer. Do we have time? We have time to just do it really quickly. What time is it? Yeah? Okay. And they're all basically saying the same thing. I think once we learned this, it should go really quick, and we could appreciate much more. So let's just see this. Machshava tzaddik mishpat tachbulas rishayim mirma. We'll read it really quick here. The thoughts of a tzaddik are mishpat, tachbulas rishayim mirma. Says the Gra, we're on page Kuf Nun Gimel Pasuk Hey. Ki atzadikim ma sheim choshvim hu mishpat, ve'ein avla machshavas davar sheina mishpat. Once they reach a madrega of being a tzaddik, even their thoughts, it's really, we'll see, it's hard to control your thoughts, our minds wander, but once a person reaches the level of tzaddik, then even their thoughts are mishpat. On the other hand, the rishoyim, tachbulus rishoyim mirma, the trickery of rishoyim is deception. A rishoyim, kol tachbulasam, all of their thoughts, all of their plans, avshem medabrim dvarim tovim, they have like wonderful things they're telling you that they're going to do for you in 10,000 years. Takbulasam limos b'nei adam b'dvarim tov shem. Yeah, they're just full of hot air. Like absolutely nothing is real. Why does it change the wording here? Right? Ki machshavos toivos hakadosh baruch hu mitzaref l'maisa. Right? This is a really important klal. If you have a good thought, you get reward for that already now. Right? Aval machshavos rose ein hakadosh baruch hu mitzaref l'maisa ad shiasa tachbula. When you have a bad thought to do something bad, so Hashem ignores it until you actually do the bad, right? And I want to share with you a chiddush I had on this idea, is that it's much easier for us to control our actions or our thoughts, because our actions are in our realm, right? We're physical people in our realm. But your thoughts, it's hard to control your thoughts, right? So that's much more difficult. Okay, that's pasuk Hey. So basically, the tzaddik, all his thoughts are mishpat. The Rasha, even like, he's telling you like really all the good things that he's going to do, but it's a load of rubbish. He's not going to do anything. Okay. Vav. Divrei Rishoyim Arav Dam. Right? Upi Yisharim Yatzilam. The words of Rishoyim, Arav Dam really means to stalk blood. He's out to kill. Right? The Rasha is really out to kill. But the mouth of the tzaddik saves people. What is he saying here? Beautiful idea here. Rishoyim Medabrim Bavadei Hakol Arav Dam. They're planning to kill people, right? Simplest things. They want blood. Avshem medabrim dvarim tovim, ha'avan tamen belibam, kamo ha'arav. Now, the word is saying it doesn't really mean he's going to kill everybody, right? It means that just like the person is stalking to kill someone, the Rasha is always looking to do averas. Shetamen es atzmam b'chtei la'arav aladam. Just like the person stalking to kill, kena avan tam belibam. That's how the Rasha is. He has bad intentions in his heart. Every single word that comes out is like music. It's pure and it's straight. That will save them from Rishayim. Right? So their straightness will keep them away from these Rishayim, because they'll realize right away that this person is a con artist. That's one shot. Va'od upi yisharim kolomer kasher tira shegama yisharim medabrim im kafit devreihem. Right? Hainu, that they're speaking to them. Mipnei shekvanasam latzilam midivrei yishayim. Right? They're trying to save them from the yishayim. Gam heim medabrim on b'ktei sheyecholim latzilam kamo chushi arechi shnasan gam etza lavshalom. I don't have Tanakh on my fingertips in my great disappointment, but Lamaisa, what the Gra is saying here is that when you see someone talking straight, then that can have a major impact on people. Shekvanas la'atzilam in divrei Rishayim. Okay, one passage we'll conclude with that. Hipuch Rishayim ve'enam u'beis hadikim yamud. Beautiful idea from the Gra. The pasuk literally means the Rishayim are flipped over and they're not anymore, but this house of the tzaddik will stand. Says the Gra like this: Kasher yatzal Hashem b'yischap b'machshavas harishayim. When Hashem saves the tzaddik from the Rasha, lo dai shat tzadikim yinatzlu. It's not enough that they'll be saved. Mashen is habek mashama rosham. The Rishayim will be punished with their own thoughts. We said that before. The Zohar says, whenever you say lashon hara or do something bad, you're sending ashpah to Shemayim, and it comes back down to you on your head. Right? So they think they're gaining, but they're going to receive their punishment themselves. They create their own punishment. That means it's flipped onto them. She's hapik or shoyim, the oven kalohayu. Okay, the ain kalohayu. They'll be like gone. V'zemilas ain shlo nisha mehem lo shor shlo anav. Nothing. They'll be totally destroyed. Right? Ke'ayin. Obey tzadikim yamud. Tzadikim av sheyipol. Even if they fall, yamud beisam zaram ach achar misasam. Right? Hashem will always make sure that the tzaddik, right, will win out in the end. Right? Even if it looks like the Russia, he's doing great, amazing, he's so successful, but in the end of the day, the tzaddik will prevail. And you see from his children, you see from his children and his descendants that really he was right and the truth was with him. So, Lamaisa, everything we read here just now really quickly, it's all just an expression of everything we learned in Pasuk Ches, right? The way he speaks, the way he acts, the way Hashem acts with him, right? And the truth is, if you look at the Mem Ches Kinyanim, it starts off by saying, Halom v'Torah l'Shema, right? All of those are just signs of somebody, just one thing, right? Avram Oyevi, right? If you really, really, really want to serve Hashem with pure intentions, it will follow that you do the following things, right? They're all signs of someone who's really serving Hashem with completely pure intentions. And look, it's hard, it's hard. We all come from backgrounds where we were brainwashed, unfortunately, for things that we shouldn't have been, and some of us were brainwashed in a good way, and some better way, and some of us were brainwashed in a worse way. But we can just re-brainwash ourselves, with the Gra here and the Rambam, as much as possible. And again, right, I'm leaving with that homework. Just 2 things I want, just 2 mitzvahs, and those 2 mitzvahs will bring down tremendous bracha to you, because the point is that you're not telling anybody. It's just between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you're going to plan it out very carefully, right, and make sure it's just between you and Hashem, and do everything you can on those mitzvahs that should be completely l'shem shamayim, l'shem Hashem. And if you do that, then when Shavuot comes, then you'll get the greatest tashbah, because that shows, Rav Dan Segel said that once, it gives you a little bit of a grasp on it, Once you have the tiniest grasp on it, then you're already in. It's like you got your foot in the door, right? Once you touched as much as you're able to achieve on that madrega of l'shma, then you're in the door already, and then once the door is open, so a lot of bracha will come down. And then, B'ezrat Hashem, you'll be able to continue in other areas, right, as much as we're all able to do. And I'm wishing everyone a Chag Sameach, and bracha, atzlacha, and siyata d'shmaya. And of course we have to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Kotoy for opening up her home for the shirim, and for preparing, for refreshments. And thank you very much. It should be the greatest nachas for your son in Shemayim, who I'm sure on Shavuot is basking in the glory of Hashem Shechina. Amen. Son.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.